Walking into a model home feels casual, isn't it? Most buyers don't realize they have already given up leverage before they even start the tour. From the moment someone registers at the front desk, the dynamic is defined. The sales representative now controls the flow of information, the pacing of the tour, and the first interpretation of pricing. Most buyers don't think about leverage when touring a model. They think about layout, finishes, and whether the space feels right. But new construction is not structured like resale. The builders has a representative on site at all times. That representative works for the builder, not for the buyer. That distinction matters more than most people realize. Let's talk about how this actually works. When someone walks in without representation and signs in, they are recorded as an unrepresented buyer. From that point forward, the builder's sales team handles the transactions internally. If the buyer later decides they want outside representative, it is often too late. Many builders have policies that prevent an agent from entering the deal after initial registration. That's not hidden, it's simply how the system is structured. Now, here's the part that rarely gets explained clearly. The builder's pricing structure already accounts for commission. In most cases, builders allocate a percentage of sales price, often 2 to 3% for buyer's agent compensation. Let's use a simple example. On a $500,000 new construction purchase, a 3% buyer agent commission equals $15,000. That amount is already built into the builder's marketing and pricing strategy. If a buyer walks in alone and remains unrepresented, that $15,000 does not automatically get credited back to them. It stays with the builder. That's not unethical, it's business structure. But it means the idea that going alone saves money is usually incorrect. Now, let's look at leverage. A builder has inventory to move, timelines to meet, and quarterly targets. In many communities, there are spec homes under construction or already completed. Carrying costs exist on those properties. Interest, taxes, and capital allocation all affect the builder. When a representative buyer enters the conversation, there is another professional in the room who understands this structure. Concessions are negotiated differently when the buyer is advised by someone who tracks builders' incentives, construction timelines, and competing inventory. Without that layer, the conversation stays between the builder and the consumer. That's not a balanced negotiation. It's structured that way intentionally. This is the part most buyers never think about. And here's where the numbers become practical. Imagine a $500,000 purchase. The builder offers a $10,000 closing cost incentive only if the buyer uses the builder's preferred lender. At first glance, that looks attractive. But if the preferred lender's rate is even a half a percent higher than market alternatives, the long term cost can exceed that incentive significantly. On a 30-year loan, a half a point difference on a $500,000 can mean tens of thousands of dollars over time. A representative evaluates those numbers differently. The conversation shifts from incentive to total cost. That's leverage. There is another area that doesn't get enough attention: upgrades. Builders make strong margins on design center selections, flooring upgrades, cabinet enhancements, appliance packages. These are profitable categories. When buyers enter without representation, pricing is accepted at face value. When buyers have representation, those selections are evaluated in context. Some upgrades are worth it, some are better handled after closing. For example, paying $18,000 for builder installed flooring upgrades might not make sense if comparable flooring can be installed post closing for $11,000 with some independent contractors. That difference is real money, and it doesn't show up as a dramatic negotiation movement. It shows up in structured advice. Another factor involves inspection and warranty oversight. Even in a new construction, independent inspections are essential. A builder's timeline prioritizes completion and closing. An independent advisor prioritizes the buyer's position. That affects punch list enforcement, final walkthrough pressure, and warranty documentation. Walking alone into a model home doesn't just affect price, it affects posture throughout the build process. Now, let's address something directly. This is not about distrust, it's about alignment. The sales representative represents builder's interests, right? A buyer's representative represents the buyer's interest. Those roles are not interchangeable. When both sides are represented, negotiation is structured. When one side is unrepresented, the structure shifts. And you're right, that's more towards the builder's shifts. That's what we are talking right now. The shift isn't visible during the tour, it becomes visible only during contract review and design center selections. Here is a common scenario: a buyer tours a model alone on a Saturday. They like the floor plan. They discuss lot premiums and elevation costs. They sign a preliminary registration form. 2 days later, they decide they want an agent involved, and the builder declines. The transaction proceeds internally. At that point, the leverage conversation is closed. The builder controls the pace, documentation, and pricing discussion. Again, not unethical at all, just structured. Smart buyers think about structure before emotion. Now, let's talk about timing. In certain markets, builders adjust incentives based on absorption rates. If a community is moving slower than projected, incentive increases. If demand spikes, incentive decreases. Tracking those patterns requires active market knowledge. An independent advisor monitors multiple communities simultaneously. The on site representative monitors just one, or maybe two. That perspective difference changes negotiation strategy. And none of this means builders are adversaries. Builders operate businesses. Their job is to protect margins and move inventory efficiently. A buyer's job is to secure the strongest possible position. Those objectives are not identical. Walking into a model home alone places all guidance inside the builder system. Walking in with representation introduces balance. That balance affects pricing, upgrades, financing structure, and timeline pressure. Here's the simplest way to think about it. If $15,000 is already allocated in the builder structure for representation, and additional concessions are possible depending on inventory conditions, the financial impact of professional guidance can exceed the visible incentive being advertised. That's leverage, not emotion, structure. This isn't about being suspicious, it's about being strategic. Smart buyers don't avoid model homes, they avoid entering structured negotiations without representation. The tour feels casual, the contract isn't. If this breakdown helped clarify how leverage works in new construction, leave a comment and share what market you are in. And if you need a strong agent in your area, someone who understands builder strategy and negotiation structures, reach out. If you are in DFW Dallas market, I will be personally representing you. But if you are in some other market, I will connect you with the right professional. Subscribe if you want more real estate explained the way it actually functions. I'll see you guys in the next video.